Hi, I'm John Veman. This week on Anyplace Wild, we pile onto dog sleds and run deep into the wintry North Woods.
When the weather is this beautiful, you forget that it's 10 degrees below zero. But the dogs don't care. They just want to run, and if you hang on tight, you'll enjoy the ride.
So come along, as we say, mush, you Huskies.
Anyplace Wild is brought to you in part by Chevy Tahoe, encouraging you to find your own little part of the planet. Destination Outdoors, makers of outdoor health and safety products, allowing you to experience the full enjoyment of your outdoor destination. And LL Bean, wherever your next adventure may take you, LL Bean can help you get there with a full selection of outdoor gear and apparel.
We're off to Superior National Forest, just outside Grand Marais, Minnesota, on the shore of mighty Lake Superior. This part of the country has some of the most Arctic-like conditions in the lower 48. Combine that with the rolling dense forest and frozen lakes and rivers, and you've got a dog sledding paradise.
When you're this far north, you understand why almost everyone drives a four-wheel drive vehicle. I say almost because my guest prefers a slightly older mode of transportation. Where the road ends, the dog sleds pick up. Arlie Jurgensen has a kennel with over 150 Alaskan Huskies, and he's raced and mushed over most of the frozen parts of the globe. Having had a Malamute as my best friend growing up, I can't imagine how you could get so many of them to work together. Arlie must have a trick up his parka sleeve. Or maybe it's a battle of wits.
Okay, okay, easy now. Just a minute. All right.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. It's a little chilly today.
Good to see you. Yeah. Ready to go?
Well, I'm ready, I think.
Let's go on over here and introduce you to some dogs. The biggest mistake people make running dogs is that they confuse this with a machine.
Uh-huh.
It's not a machine. It's a relationship with 6 animals, or in my case, 11.
Wow. Which
is like crazy when you think about it. Our modern world doesn't let things get so out of hand.
Yeah.
And there is an invitation here to trouble.
Hey.
This will not work perfectly.
Hey.
But that's the fun of it, too.
Come on. Gotta hold him back. He's really mad here. Ho, ho.
There are times, a lot of times, when it will work perfectly. It'll just feel great because they'll all work together and you'll be integral part of it. You'll find very early on that they'll look back at you and they'll respond to you. Just imagine yourself. You're in there with a harness, you got a collar around your neck, and you're tied in together. There's a group of you going to pull, and there's somebody back here sort of directing the show. That's the situation they're in. And just give them every kind of way of communicating that you can. Sherlock is a typical Alaskan Husky. He's real high-strung.
Yeah.
He just wants to go, and you'll see that.
He's a little guy.
He's not very big. He's a tremendous athlete,
And
though.
strong, huh? Is he the boss?
Yeah, well, he's in charge. Now we're going to bring his daughter, Crystal, out, who's a beauty. One blue eye and one brown eye.
You are strong.
We're running a double lead here. Here is Renata.
Renata.
Renata is Crystal's sister, so this is another daughter of Sherlock.
We got Sherlock, Crystal, Renata.
Renata. Now, we have...
the magic mystery door.
Let's see, who's next? Under door number 3. Ooh. This is sweet. As in, the blue eyes, blonde, the whole thing.
Little sweetie.
This is Bucky. Bucky is the grandfather of Crystal and Renata.
Ah.
This is Eclipse. He's a very calm dog and very powerful dog. as you'll find out. You feel your adrenaline level?
I do. I'm starting to feel it.
Let's go.
Okay.
Time to go. Get back there. Okay. See what I'm doing now, Arlene? Is I'm having trouble getting my leader to really take off, and so I'm holding back quite a bit.
Okay.
And that's what you have to do. You have to get them wanting it more than you want it, almost. Right now, he's just sort of being lazy, but he'll do it.
What is right and left?
G is right, and haw is left.
Okay.
Just like the old horseman. Okay. All right. There we go. All right.
Whoa. You got
All
a
right.
fast team here.
All right.
You 6 little guys have no problem keeping up with his 11.
There we go. All right.
Come on, guys. Come on. Come on.
About 4,000 years ago, the Chukchi people of what is now Siberia first hooked dogs to a sled. These nomadic people eventually crossed the frozen Bering Sea to North America. For thousands of years, man and dog have traversed the frozen expanses, and during that time, a new type of dog has emerged, able to withstand fierce cold and rugged enough to pull heavy loads. The character of sled dogs is almost mythic. Runs of 100 miles or more in 50 below zero weather are not unusual. Their names echo from the pages of Jack London: Buck, White Fang, and the real-life dog Balto, who led the final leg of the diphtheria serum run to Nome. That famous run is now commemorated by the Iditarod race. Balto's statue in New York Central Park reads, "Endurance, fidelity, intelligence."
Easy now. Straight ahead. All right. All right. Come on. Straight ahead now. Straight ahead. Good. Whoa, whoa, we're going to stop here.
What's that?
Right here. Home.
This is home?
We're going to put the dogs out on a drop line, probably back in there, along the trees, and then we'll set our camp up back in this little opening, a little protection from the north and the east and west, but open to the south.
Okay. Now I'm feeling memories from a previous life. Dragging chains. They're usually tied to my ankles.
So what kind of a knot are you tying, or do you have any?
How about a what knot?
Okay. Doesn't really matter, whatever's most convenient for you.
Now, do you take the harness off at night?
The harness comes off. Oh yeah, bull snaps. They pull outward. Right.
Why don't you do it once
Sure.
and show me?
Pulls outward like that, and it's very secure. Some of the sliding snaps, they can get the slide on the edge of the chain like that and accidentally come loose. And some of them, we suspect are it's not just accidental. They learn how. We put male, female, in that kind of order just to keep the
Here, wait a
power
minute.
struggles. Like we could have Eclipse and Sherlock get into it, but they don't really have any issues. Sherlock is not a dominant dog. He doesn't care if he's the biggest and toughest. He just wants to be in lead. That's a myth, you know, that the toughest dog is the lead dog. People ask, you know, what makes a good lead dog, or how do you choose lead dog and all that, And I always think of Mohawk, you know, and it's not arrogance exactly, but it's a lot more than confidence. It is a sort of an arrogance. And who we have down here that's needs to be moved? Eclipse and Bucky. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think I'll leave that job to him. Holy cow, this snow is deep. So, Arlie, what's the methodology here?
Just make a floor for the tent.
It's kind of like mowing the lawn or something.
Yeah, after a while you kind of get into it.
Yeah.
We're in luxury. We have the 12-foot tent tonight.
So if it gets cold, can we bring a couple dogs inside?
If it gets real cold, we'll make it a 3-dog night.
Is that what that's named?
That's where it comes from.
Really?
Real cold.
I thought it was a band.
It is a band. That's where they got their name.
So how cold temperature-wise is a 3-dog night?
50 below. You know, the dogs are more comfortable outside.
And the dogs can handle sleeping out here? Is that cold?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
With our portable wood stove assembled and our dogs all settled in, I feel like I'm in an old mining camp in the middle of the Yukon. At the turn of the century, the race was on. Gold. The Klondike, Sitka, Nome, Fairbanks, Dawson City. Villages mushroomed overnight and were inundated with prospectors and dogs of every description. Good dogs were at a premium. Flatlanders assumed that bigger dogs were better. Any dog with 4 legs was a likely target. Some miners had pretty bizarre ideas about which animals were best to pull their loads. Sheep? Moose? In the end, it was the Alaskan Husky that proved to be the best suited and most reliable animal for pulling heavy loads for long distances. In fact, they were harnessed to anything that needed moving. These dogs are born to pull. There's always one in every crowd that thinks that just because he gets up early, everyone else should too.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How cold do you think it was last night?
50 below.
I think you're right. Oh, man. Did you hear all that growling?
Morning is just the time where they wake up and they just sort of growl at one another for the fun of it.
Kind of like us. Rah.
Some people.
Where is that tea?
Some people
Not
just...
me. I'm not a morning growler.
As you can imagine, it's in the musher's best interest to keep his dogs well-fed and healthy. Arlie always takes care of his dogs before he feeds himself. We have 17 dogs to take care of. That's a lot of work. Chipping through the thick ice for water, hauling it back to camp, heating it, and mixing the gruel to the perfect consistency. On Arctic expeditions, mushers usually feed their dogs 2 to 3 pounds of frozen seal or walrus meat at night. They get their water from eating snow. Arlie's food mixture is a special blend that mimics that traditional high-fat, high-protein diet. Dinner time is more solid food for sustenance, and breakfast is a hot, brothy mixture mostly to hydrate them for their day of work. These are happy dogs. As I get more familiar with these dogs, I can see why Arlie feels such a connection to them. Each dog has a unique personality and a specific role to play. I'm definitely bonding with them. Heading out onto the frozen Brule River, I'm beginning to feel like I'm part of the team. of course, and the alpha female.
Mohawk is, as stubborn as he is great on thin ice. The ice actually kind of gets a little springy, like there's a little bit of floating to it. He'll just, I could say, I give him a command right or left, he just dive for the shore, just tear for shore.
Guys.
And
Come on, guys.
whereas like Sherlock are a little more like they'd speed up, go right down the middle, and just sort of get out of control. And, you know, they could go in a situation like that. All right, here we go.
They're running good now.
All right, yep.
After our morning run on the river, Arlie decides that we're ready for the woods. With densely packed trees, sled control is critical. If I go off the trail, I'll be chewing pine.
Hey, Arlie. Can you understand these guys' language? I mean, they make so much noise. You know the difference of when they're in pain or when they're happy or when they're impatient? Can you understand them?
These dogs are, I think the most appealing thing about them is that they live completely in the moment. They're interested in what's going on right now. They're very impatient, and that makes them want to go down the trail right now. Come on, let's go, come on.
So, Arlie, is this a lot of work on these dogs? Can they handle getting up hills like this and pulling us up?
Oh yeah, that's no problem. It's a good opportunity to get them working together. All right, you'll notice we have a lot of male-female combinations and dogs that are friends with each other. That's so that we avoid the power struggles that take place, you know, males with males and females with females. Use your brake.
What's the trick of steering in through this downhill stuff?
Be on the brake, it's the most important thing. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on.
Screaming through the woods down these narrow trails with 90-degree turns is super exciting. The dogs are full of adrenaline and have no desire to cool their jets just because there's a tree ahead. It requires a dynamic balance, much like windsurfing, snow skiing, and tobogganing combined. At first, I feel like I'm hanging on for dear life, but after a while, it starts to click. The dogs just love every minute of it, and their excitement and enthusiasm is infectious.
All right. I do my best dog mushing when I'm thinking like a dog, that's for sure. And everyone, all mushers do.
So how does a dog think? What's going on inside their brain?
They're just real primitive and real driven. They're task-oriented. They just burn up all their energy. They just give it to you all. And that's what they want to do. And they do it in a social way. It's fun for them. They're workers. They like a job. They don't like fooling around, and they enjoy camping and traveling and meeting other dogs and things like that there. You know, I should tell you this story of an encounter with the wolves, which means a lot to me. It was that moment in which I felt everything was worthwhile, when in the Northwest Territories, a pack of wolves howling in response to my dogs showed up in camp about 2:30 in the morning. I was on the south side of Elmer Lake, in the middle of the barren lands, really in the middle.
Where are the barren lands?
North of the Great Slave Lake and to the east towards Hudson Bay and up to the Arctic Ocean. It's on the Canadian Shield. It's very much country like this, except it's hardly any trees in it, and it's vast and it's windblown. And in April, it's like paradise for a dog musher. You can just go anywhere. And from 5:30 till about 10:30, the light is pink and the shadows are purple, and it's just this magnificent kind of light, and that's what we were enjoying. And finally, we were getting around to going to bed as the sun was coming up, and the wolves howled first, and then our dogs howled back in response. 15 minutes later, they were coming into camp. 6, 7, 8, they're all around us and coming right in. Where are my pants? I was out of the tent, just because they were coming in a predatory fashion, and I needed to be out there. But then once I got out there, they stopped and fanned out in a line. It was only 90 feet away, and there was 9 of them in total. Wow. A big black one in the center was the leader, and the entire pack was pure white. Wow. It was just magnificent, It was not menacing, it was not threatening, it was a privilege. I just felt privileged, and the understanding occurred between the wolf and myself. He understood me, he learned as much as I did from that encounter. Next morning, he showed up again out on the lake and took his pack by, and he was heading north to Muskox Island, I can't eat any sled dogs. I guess I'll try for a muskox, I guess. The dog lives with us. The dog, it's mutual. Yeah. The dogs have a loyalty and a love and a dependence for us that's real. I mean, they're a very primitive, feral, wild animal. Some of them could almost be wolves, but they're not wolves, they're dogs. And they love their working with us, and as long as we respect what their job is and help them do it instead of not be a hindrance. What?
To learn more about Anyplace Wild and the Great Outdoors, check out PBS online at www.pbs.org.